Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Bad Guys podcast, episode 3, I believe. I'm fighting some bad allergies. Jeff is as crazy as ever, but, it's a Tuesday night at 7 o'clock, so we're going to give this thing a try. How you doing, Jeff?
I am doing fantastic. I am exhausted. I am still at work, working on a soccer tifo. If you do not know what a soccer tifo is, I highly recommend you Google it. It'll show you a ton of different images. We are building it for the Bay FC, the new women's professional team here in the Bay Area. It's opening day on Saturday for the
Awesome.
for their home opener, and so we're making one of those in my warehouse right now. So I'm going a little crazy, and then we also have bag tag this weekend. So
Yeah. How are your preparations going for your bag tag this weekend?
They're going okay. I got news today that there's a mower at Oyster Bay. So, and I also heard that they're mowing a part of the fairway of 16 that doesn't matter. So, we got to always appreciate that. But hey, I won't bitch. I appreciate their hard work.
It's always the easiest parts that we don't need, So that's where they start. Yeah. Cool. Well, let's jump right into it. What do you got for us today, Jeff? I know you got quite the agenda.
Yeah, we had the first major of the year just happened, and we had some locals there, so I thought we'd talk about it a little bit. Our own internet sensation, Amelia Seychao, played in the FJ12 division, and she podiumed, taking third, walking away with a medal. So I think that's super dope. Shout out to Amelia. She shot in her last round. She shot 32 golf.
That's awesome.
And then for those Texas courses, if you've never played in Texas, they tend to be quite wooded. There tends to be, if not OB, it's just natural OB. If once you go in, you must go horizontally out. So congratulations to her. We also have Danny Clyden, this traveling pro from San Jose. She took 47th. And I posted onto our Facebook. So if you're not a part of our Facebook, I don't know what you're doing here if you're not. But if you're not a part of our Facebook, jump on there. And her video is on there of her missing by an inch on an island hole. So super cool for Danny, who just got sponsored by Neptune Discs. And also
Neptune Discs? What the heck is Neptune Discs?
Neptune Discs it's the same company that sponsors Natalie Ryan.
Okay.
Yeah. So I hear they have 3 molds out. That's the extent of what it is. But yeah, so she's pretty much open bag right now, other than these 3 molds that she is bagging. So congratulations to her. 47th out of, man, I want to say it was 90 or 100.
Oh, it was 100. It was 102 in the FPO.
Super sick. Super sick. So it's so crazy because it's a major already and it's only been a month.
I know, it's pretty weird that we're having. I mean, well, last year we had the Championship Cup, which I think is actually moved because of that was all very weird where they moved it because the International Disc Golf Center's course wasn't going to be ready, and now they're moving it back because they're putting it at a different time anyways, and it was going to be in the middle of the European Tour. I think we talked about this last summer. Anyways, but yeah, a huge field on the U.S. Women's Disc Golf Championship, right? I mean, just huge field, across all the divisions. I think it was over 400 people played over the weekend, which is amazing, obviously. Juliana Korver, who's, a local favorite, obviously, and just, obviously huge Hall of Famer, amazing golfer, won FP50. So I think she's done FP50 before, but now, so she has won a major in I think 3 different divisions now, FPO, FP40, FP50. So, and she has something 8 or she has 6 in FPO, if I recall correctly. Somebody's going to correct me in the comments, but she has something 11 total. So that's crazy.
Yeah, she's incredible. And it's one of those things that she could probably play in FP40 if she wanted to, but probably just chooses to play in FP50. Yeah, she is amazing.
Yeah, and last summer she was playing some FPO too still. So, she's out there. Her and Jim Oates are just kind of picking and choosing what they want to play and enjoying, cruising around and checking out golf courses. So you can't really fault them for that. But yeah, Texas is an amazing place for them to be holding it this year. I didn't check which courses Amelia was playing, but like you were saying, I've played a lot down there. And yeah, if you are not in the fairway, it is really tough. And obviously, when you're a lower rated player, consistency and getting into the middle of the fairway is probably going to be one of the toughest things to do. So to shoot good numbers on any of those courses there, at that age bracket, at that rating bracket, is quite a triumph. And the two people that she lost to ended up going into a playoff, but they're both like Innova sponsored players, and were like clearly strokes better than her, but they've probably been playing for years and years and years and years. Who knows? Or
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So
yeah, I saw some videos of her opponents just because Amelia posted them, and then they've been cycling around the internet. And my goodness, the ability and trust in their discs to throw something kind of flippy, throw it on the left hand side, and it just like settles in on a right side, just nice and flat, and then under the basket. Absolutely amazing to see that Amelia is competing with those type of players. So absolutely huge congratulations to her. Also, we have one other person is Alex Von Stage. She's from Modesto, good friend of mine. She took 77. Not too bad. I assume that she doesn't get to like go out there and play the course a ton.
Mm-hmm.
And Danny is traveling on tour, so she definitely got to play that course multiple times and all that. So congratulations to all of our locals that went out there. If we're missing a local, please slam us in the comments, particularly me, since I did the research. Also, other local news. As I said, Oyster Bay's membership drive is this upcoming Saturday. We have 16 spots available. It's $30 to play. Also, you can just buy your tag. We will have them at every monthly, and then we'll also try to ship them out. We had a little hiccup last year. I don't know how you guys do it. I know you just like put it in the mail and it gets there, but somehow I at least lost 10 of them.
Yeah, ours wasn't great either. We got a couple that got returned, and then there was like a handover where like some people were sending them out, but then also trying to give them out, and then I didn't have the right list, so I don't know. Yeah, it's really, it's the best if you can just hand them out the day of. So, which, obviously you guys are going to try to do that with the people that are playing that day. But yeah, I mean, even, the San Francisco Disc Golf Club has to deal with that quite a bit as well, So I think it's always an issue with trying to get people their tags, and we're kind of past the days where you can kind of just have 20 people show up to the bag tag and play it, and like that's it, and then later on people just buy them out of your bag. It seems like a lot more people want them this year. So how many people do you guys have signed up so far?
We have 54 of the 70 spots. So if you do play with us, you will get your tag on the day. We are doing a shotgun start, and at the end of the round we will then hand out the tag. So at least the first 54, hopefully 70 tags will go out on that day.
Awesome. Yeah, and unfortunately the weather's not looking super great this weekend, but we'll see. Hopefully it blows through before Saturday, but we'll see.
That is what I'm hoping. Yeah, Saturday is very busy. I have that in the morning, and then the BAFC home opener is in the afternoon. I'm making this TIFO thing. I have to get it out there like 3 or 4 hours before the game time starts. So I'm really hoping that I'm not just going to be dropping it off and sitting in my car for the next few hours. So if the Frisbee gods and all the many-face gods could do me a huge one and blow that thing through on Thursday, Friday, I would super appreciate it. Would love them. We also have the Valero Blue Rock tournament.
Which is what I'm going to be playing this weekend. In theory.
A bunch of people are. I am very jelly. That course looks cool.
Yeah, I think Riley did a really good job. We'll have to see, when we get out there. But I helped out with doing the UDisc layouts for their practice rounds. And so I got to look at the maps and kind of look at the distances and stuff like that. One course seems to kind of have a lot of variability in terms of the pars and stuff like that. So it seems really cool. One's a little bit more straightforward, like par 3, dominant with like one par 5 at the end. But, that complex, I believe, has something like 3 or 4 ball golf courses on it. And I believe that they are taking, it might only have 2 ball golf courses, but they're taking one of the ball golf courses and doing 2 disc golf courses on it. So it's like one side of the road. And then if you look on the map, there's like a whole other golf complex on the other side. And in theory, if this stuff works out, there could be a lot of traction for doing more stuff there. Scott Riley, who is TDing the event in conjunction with support from the UFOs and the Benejos, I believe, said that the community involvement has been really good. One of the things that they did there, which is a little different, is they partnered with the local Rotary Club in Vallejo, and so they're splitting any profit that the tournament makes with the Rotary Club, but the Rotary Club itself brought in a ton of sponsorship. So it's kind of a win-win. You bring them in, they bring in a lot of money, and then you guys get to split it. So and Rotary clubs in local areas always are doing lots of great work for the local communities, homelessness and outreach and stuff like that. So supporting the local Rotary Club is a great benefit as well. So I'll be out there, and I'll next time we tape, I'll have some stories about how it was out there.
Great. I can't wait. I've only seen the little clips of the few, I guess maybe videos or just flyovers or just pictures from the tee box. But man, it looks kind of Chabot-ish.
Yeah.
Where you're like thrown off hillsides and whatnot. So you're going to just get to absolutely, not necessarily, I guess not even necessarily a bomber course. You just get to like put it out and watch the disc fly, which is the best part.
Yeah, there's some long holes for sure. Especially playing in MA40, it'll be interesting to see how the pars work out. But Riley himself said it's very much like Chabot. He seems to think that they're pretty similar. I mean, ball golf courses on a hill, right? So there's only so much you're going to do. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to that. It should have a good field. I believe that one is also full, but some people have been getting in because I'm sure with the weather looming as bad on Saturday, we're starting to get some dropouts and stuff like that. So I'm certainly glad I don't have to run an event this time of year right now. So,
I'll bet.
It's nice to have a little break right now.
Yeah. If I signed up, I would be one of those, not quitters, but fair weather golfers.
Yes, I know that you're a fair weather golfer. I'm not usually a fair weather golfer. I'll go and handle the rain and snow, but my allergies are just killing me right now. So it just depends on how I'm really feeling later on this week if I'm gonna want to have the energy to deal with that much rain. But I don't think even if it rains, I think it'll be more sprinkly. I don't think it's gonna be not like January rain. I mean, we're in March now or April almost. It should be better.
Yeah, I hope you're right. And last thing we got for local news is Creekside Bag Tag. That's the course out in Brentwood. They filled up their 50 spots, and then they went and bought more tags. So if you want to sign up for and support Creekside, please do that. Everyone knows that these finances go right back to you as the community, just like us at Oyster Bay and just like you guys at East Bay. It allows us to make even better events. It really, the experience with your money, the experience that you get as a golfer just becomes better. Better. Yeah. So please go out and support your local clubs. Buy a tag even if you don't particularly plan on playing. Like I had someone that today asked for a refund, and that's perfectly fine. But just know that even even $30 just helps everybody out. Like we hear with us at Oyster Bay, one of the things that we have to do is that East Bay Park is willing to pay for the fixes. So when eventually we can get around to fixing the pyramid, that will get paid for by them, but it's through reimbursement. So we have to pay for it first, and then they'll pay us back. But if we don't have any money to pay for it to get fixed or to get the wood out there or whatnot, it's tough. And with Oyster Bay, we just got approved to have equipment. And we bought our first trimmer. We bought our first battery. And we've been lucky enough from Thomas Bauman he's loaning us some equipment too. So it's super cool. If you have that type of equipment, electric equipment for us, battery powered, we would love to borrow it whenever we can. So yeah, thank you very much for everybody.
Yeah, and I'll just tag on to that sentiment about helping out clubs and supporting bag tags. And Creekside is a great course. AJ has done a lot of work to get that course in the ground. It's been out there for a couple of years. I think this is their first actual bag tag, so it's pretty interesting. Plus, I think they're doing payouts and stuff. So I don't know. Maybe somebody didn't tell them what the point of a bag tag was in terms of making money, but they also probably don't have a whole lot of operating budget either because it's it's kind of a city run course, so maybe they don't even care.
Yeah,
they're just like, we'll get the tags out there.
Or maybe they made just the best version of a bag tag.
Yeah, exactly.
Who knows? Maybe they're trend setting.
Well, if you don't have to
Yeah.
pay for
So
anything else, then I suppose that's the way you do it.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, so that's really it for local news. Now, probably the biggest topic of the entire night. We've got a new course coming in the Bay Area, especially in the East Bay. And then there's some potential newness of disc golf in Oakland. So can you let me know it sounds like you've been out there. What's going on with Hayward?
Yeah, so a couple of months ago, Leonard came to the East Bay Disc Golf Club, one of our board meetings, and was saying, "Hey, I'm going to start with Oakland, even though Hayward is coming in first." He said, I've been approached by Oakland City Parks Department to look at some small local, like kind of urban parks to put in small disc golf courses, and they were going to try to do it themselves, and I think they went and bought a bunch of like portable baskets that you wouldn't want to put in the ground, because they'll rust immediately. They like bought a bunch of gear and they were like sort of gung-ho about it, but they didn't really know what they were doing. So I started talking to Leonard, and Leonard's like, well, this is a great opportunity to get some of the local disc golf clubs, in touch with some of the local municipalities to start figuring this out. It just so happens that at the same time, he was also sort of talking to Hayward. This project in Hayward's been going on for probably about a year or so. Scott Riley had been working on it for a while. Mikey Alvarez had been working with some parts of Hayward as well. And it finally started getting traction, I think, when Leonard was also involved in terms of actually like getting supplies and moving forward with the location. So there's a small local park right sort of near downtown Hayward in like this little greenway section. And so before anybody gets too excited, yes, it's a brand new course. It's a 9-hole course that's in a small local park, and it's really, 150 to 220 foot holes. It's a beginner course. And, while most people that would watch this or listen to this podcast are probably not going to utilize this course very much, it's really important that we start in these local communities with these small courses. And it's similar to what we're trying to do in Oakland. So if we can get all these small courses in, teaching the youth so it's not just about putting those courses in, it's also about keeping up with them and doing clinics or doing, instructional, clinics and seminars there, working with local community to make sure that the courses are kept up and, that they can move baskets and do all the stuff that you do with a small course. We're going to get a lot of younger golfers playing, as well as show a lot of these local municipalities that, hey, the general public likes disc golf, and these clubs like ESB, EBDGC and Oyster Bay and whoever else wants to get involved are good at collaborating with. So my hope is that we start working with Hayward and we build some smaller local courses. We start working with Oakland, which is probably a couple months away from those projects really getting started, but we've already looked at a couple of different sites in Oakland that we're pretty sure we'll be starting to break ground on before too long. But in a similar way, working with the Parks Department and helping facilitate what we need to do to build those, as well as trying to bring some volunteer energy in it. But if we keep going along that trajectory, then all of a sudden they'll be like, these guys are great. Hey, look, here's this big chunk of land out on the outskirts of town. Here's, a bunch of land up in the Oakland Hills, or, I think this the more we can grow this sport at the grassroots level here, the better chance we have to actually having these municipalities trust us with larger tracts of land and being able to build more, big boy courses, for lack of a better word, like actual competitive courses. So that's my goal. And the biggest thing that if anybody sounds interested, if this sounds interesting to anybody, and sorry if I'm rambling, I'm a little loopy from all the allergy medication today, but basically, if this seems interesting to you, come out and volunteer. We need people that can get involved with these local parks departments, to get people to know them. We need people that can help us actually install these courses, though the goal would be to teach these local parks departments how to build the courses and have them take it over at some point. But really, we need volunteers. We need to show that there's a grassroots effort from the local clubs and that we're good people to partner with. So the last couple of events we've had for the Hayward one has basically been the same 5 people. And I really need to figure out a way to break past that. And we really need to try to get as many people, especially from the East Bay, and if people live in those areas, involved as possible. So you'll see me doing a lot more outreach over the next couple of weeks as we move forward with the Hayward course and start working on the Oakland courses.
Yeah, I can understand that, like, if you are an MPO player, a 9-hole with 150, 125, foot holes, like doesn't super excite you, but that course isn't necessarily meant for you, right? Like I can imagine there are a lot of players out there or early participants that go to a place like aquatic, throw a disc into the water, and they're like, I quit. This sport sucks. I'm done.
Yeah.
And even when I'm trying to reach out to these camps to set up, like, can I come in and work for an hour? Well, Berkeley has, they run like 4 or 5 ultimate Frisbee summer camps. I would love to go in, help them out, get these kids interested in it. But then where do I turn them to? Do I tell them to go to aquatic?
Yeah.
Probably not.
Yeah, everybody going to go up to Vallejo or down to Oyster Bay, Like
right. Yeah. And even Oyster Bay's like the yellow to yellows, that for a brand spanking new player
is tough.
I would
especially
never take it. Especially if it's windy.
Yeah.
I would never take them there.
Yeah.
I would never take my kid there and to like get their juices flowing. Mm-hmm. This is the type of course that I want where a hole is 120 feet. For me, all right, I get to ace run putters all day. Mm-hmm. One of the coolest courses I've ever seen was up in Sacramento. There is a 18-hole disc golf course, and it was an Eagle Scout project.
Oh yeah.
None of the holes are more than 100 feet. There aren't even real tee pads. All they did was put a like piece of wood into the grass and kind of like nail it into the grass, and then they just put a number marker on it, and then they have a basket that's 70 feet away.
Yeah.
That is not for me. That is for me bringing my 7-year-old, my 9-year-old, my 10-year-old, and get them to throw a disc at a basket and get it nearby it.
Yeah.
Even if it's like this and it just swings hard, well, okay, they're now 25 feet out because it's so close. That is the way that you engage someone, because everyone can remember those like moments when they got their first birdie or they got their first par or they hit like a 20-foot putt. But no one wants to remember those times they took 7s, 8s, 9s, and 10s. Mm-hmm. And it just, the fun factor just doesn't exist anymore.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
and I just don't think we have a lot of that in the area for upcoming, for up and coming people that want to play the sport. I see it a lot at Aquatic Park where somebody that goes to school at Berkeley might be really interested in disc golf and could handle Aquatic Park, but they bring 3 other friends from Cal, and their friends, are throwing them into the water, and then they never want to come back again, and this guy doesn't have anybody to play with. But if you had some, a little simpler place to play, I think it'd make it a lot easier. The other thing is that, like, Rocks in the chat asked, are they thinking about putting these parks close to schools? The Hayward one is literally next to one of the holes. You look down a little, like one of those little alleyways that goes into a neighborhood, and across the street is a middle school. Like, literally, it is a minute and a half to the front door of a middle school. So, like, that's going to be kids after school, all those things. The other thing, you had mentioned Eagle Scouts. We've already been in touch with, I believe, an Eagle Scout troop from Castro Valley and talked to them about helping us with, when this Oakland project is off the ground, helping us with some of those courses, making it some projects and stuff like that. So there's just a lot of this really great, for lack of a better word, and because I'm a project manager in tech industry, I'm going to use synergy around parks departments and other people understanding that disc golf is a thing and they want to do something, they want to invest money in it, but not knowing what to do. And we've got clubs that have people that are really interested in building courses. We just need to finish tying those 2 things together, I think, with a little bit stronger level of volunteerism. And it may take, coming from me, rewards and stuff like that. And I don't think that that's the end of the world, but that's one of the things that we were just talking about with bag tag memberships and stuff like that. Like, these clubs, if I'm going to give out discs or a t-shirt for building this course, and I'm going to pay for, well, hopefully the cities are paying for the materials. But, like, if I'm going to offer something, then I need to, the club needs to bring in cash. We bring in a little bit through weeklies and a little bit through tournaments and stuff like that. But, we probably make, couple $1,000 off the bag tag. That's kind of where you kind of start from. So it all works together. We need to support the clubs. People need to come out and volunteer for the clubs as we're building these small courses. Even if, like, I'm never going to go to Hayward. I mean, Hayward is so far away from me, and it's this 9-hole course, but it's super fun. And it's really a beautiful little park. And the people that we're working with there at HARD, which is, I think, Hayward Area recreation and department or something like that is really cool. They're great people. So, you know, I've gotten to meet some of them. But yeah, so that's kind of the catch up on all that. And if you want to know more about what's going on, reach out to me, reach out to Wilson or Leonard Muse, because we're kind of, you know, or anybody from the East Bay Disc Golf Club board, you know, Marissa, Nick Norenya, Matt Rowe, we're all pretty heavily involved in trying to figure out how to do better with volunteerism, also what we need to do logistically just in the short term for Hayward, and then we're going to need to do logistically with Oakland, and as we get more and more momentum going, we're going to need more and more people and more money. So, you know, just keep a lookout for volunteer requests.
Yep. Yeah, and it's honestly, it's super rewarding. Like, as much as I will, if you come to me and you want to like gab about the negative things that happen when you volunteer, like I will go for days. But I'm really at that conversation is me narrowing on the 1% of negativity, and there is that 99% that is just absolutely amazing. Like I ran into Kirby Cool at Oyster Bay the other day, and I like started off just ranting and riffing about some bullshit, and it was like, I should actually, and I had to stop myself. And I was like, I should actually just say that this is the 1% of my actual experience. 99% of it is fantastic, and I love meeting all these people that know me, and I am starting to get to know them. That is my favorite part. It is the best by far, and so I love that. And though I get a little in my own head, I love the fact that I volunteered. I love the fact that I am a part of this community, and I love meeting all these new people and creating events and opportunities for people to play disc golf, because the sport is so rewarding. It is so fun. It's just amazing. So please go out and help.
Yeah, thanks for saying that, because I can't wait to have that sound clip for when we need to do some more stuff at Hayward, and I'm going to call you up and be like, hey, remember you saying this on the podcast? Come on out.
Yeah. So I'm busy.
I'm pretty sure you live pretty close to Hayward too.
I do. Yeah, I live in Castro Valley.
They might as well be the same thing as far as I'm concerned.
Honestly, it's probably just as close as Chabot Park is. So
that's true. But you know,
yeah.
Hey, you know, we all volunteer in our own ways. We're all doing a lot of great stuff. But like, really, you know, and the other thing is that, like, you know, this is probably, you know, a conversation for off the podcast. But like, I really do want to get I want Oyster Bay and East Bay both working on this stuff, you know? So, like, we will start figuring all that stuff out, especially once we start going into Oakland, because I think there's going to be a lot of opportunities for us to motivate both of our, you know, our membership base. So we'll figure all that stuff out. But, just keep an ear out and volunteer. Just come out. Literally, if you came out for 3 hours on a beautiful Saturday afternoon or morning, you know, you're going to go away. Like, what did on Saturday, I showed up around 10. I helped until about 1 or 2. There wasn't much to be done, actually, on this Saturday, so it was okay that we didn't have that many people, but I went and got lunch for everybody, and then I came back, and then we went and played, me and Matt Rowe went and played Chabot, and I felt, you know, I played horribly, but, like, we felt really fulfilled. You know, we had gone out and done something with that beautiful day, and, you know, we got to play afterwards, so it's really fun.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, I should also mention that you can sign up for East Bay Club's membership drive. That is in April.
Yeah.
Right now on Disc Golf Scene. So please go do that.
Yeah, our registration is open. It's 420 and 421, I believe. Yeah.
Classic. And in Monster News, April, I think it's 5-6. Yeah, that sounds right. April 5-6. That's not this weekend, but the following weekend. Oyster Bay will be restarting its weekly.
Whoa, no way.
Yes way.
Who's running it?
Thank you to Matt Rowe for helping us out, and thank you to Jeff Goss and Matt Rowe for figuring out how to do the handicap and letting us just copy and paste. So we are using the East Bay handicap format. Matt Rowe is going to help us with the number side.
Oh, so Matt will actually run the handicaps and then give you guys all the data, and then you guys will check who paid and do all the payouts and stuff like that. That's a really great way of doing that. Yeah.
Yeah, he hit me up at the Backpack Championship. He wanted to talk about it afterwards, and so we sat down for a sec, and then myself, Eric, Levick Hale, and him have been going back and forth on how we're going to go it, and I have to put out in the ether, so I make sure it happens. So yeah, so you can look for it on April 5-6. your first two rounds are free as long as you do not want to play for the ace pot. Then you have to pay in full. It's going to be $6 to be transparent. 4 is going to go to payout. 1 is going to go to the club, and 1 is going to go to the ace pot itself. So I'm very excited to get the handicap going again. I've actually been playing in the handicap league over at Chabot.
Yeah, me too.
Quite a bit. So yeah, it's fun. The community does seem to want it. So I'm glad that we found someone that is willing to help us out, and Eric and I will do our best to be on top of the payment aspect of that.
So you guys are going to do a flex start all weekend?
All weekend.
Okay,
Yep. I think
cool.
to me, it's something that is, if you are using this to pay your bills, we have a whole different conversation where I'm looking for an installer right now. So if you need a job, I will get you. I'd rather you get you a job than the payout. But
that's great.
It's time for us to get it going.
Cool. So, and you'll be handling like the layouts and stuff like that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't know if it's gonna be every week we're gonna have it, or maybe every 2 weeks we'll have the same layout, and then 2 weeks later we'll have the same layout. I'll figure that out.
Whatever makes it easy. But, yeah. I mean, really, you know, we'll talk about it later about what the annoying parts are. But tracking down the money is usually the hardest part.
Oh, it's gonna be one of those things that if you don't pay, then I'm instantly nixing you. I don't care about that.
It's just annoying to have to look through all of them. Like it's absolutely easier just to trust that everybody paid, but they did not. So like sometimes with AP I can get away with it a little bit easier because it's like 12 people playing, but when you get into like what the numbers that you're gonna have and Chapeau will have, you got to check 50 or 60 PayPal entries or Venmo entries or whatever. Anyways, nobody cares about us talking about the logistics of how you run a league, so we can move on. But congratulations on that.
Thanks. If you do care, both of us are looking for volunteers.
Yeah, exactly. I would love people. Yeah, if you want to run a league, I got many leagues that you can run.
Yeah. And so we have like 4 topics tonight. We're going to move on to our third one. The Disc Golf Pro Tour is finishing up kind of its like first month plus week. We just had the major, watching Missy Gannon take it down. Spoiler alert, if you can't spoil live sports. If I ever say that and you yell at me for spoiling it, we are going to have a whole different conversation. But yeah, Missy Gannon takes it down. That course was absolutely brutal. It was one of those, you have to stay in the middle of the fairway or you will take strokes. It was cool to watch. Evelina was like on her almost the entire weekend, but she just gunned it with her putt. Absolutely amazing the whole weekend. So shout out to Missy Gannon if we'll ever get on the pod. That'd be huge. Big money, Missy.
Yeah, her first major. Her first major. She almost had one. She almost had it last year, right? I think at the USW DGC. But then Kristen took it. It was interesting not to see Kristen really kind of show up this weekend. Paige Pierce is still having a hard time getting started with her season. Evelina's putt looked a lot better. Obviously still, especially on that last day, but she's got a routine and she's got a routine. She looks like she's got an idea of what she's trying to do. So yeah, I mean, obviously I think the and Owen winning when she won the Texas Open, right? The Open in Austin.
Yeah.
Okay, I couldn't remember if it was that or Waco. I forget who won Waco on the FPO side, but yeah, like it's interesting to see with Kristen having a slow start, with Paige not really coming back strong. Like who is really going to be super interesting on the FPO side? There's been obviously Owen's always like a perennial favorite, but Missy's been up there quite a bit this year. Evelina, Kat Merch was on the lead card a little bit. We've got you'll see Ella kind of up there a little bit as well. Yep.
Holland.
And Holland Hanley.
Yeah, Holland Hanley.
Doing really well. And then there's that new Finnish woman, Heidi. Like it looks like Heidi.
Yep.
And she,
beast.
Yeah, she is a beast. Yeah, she can throw.
Beast.
Yeah. So
she's got a cool spin putt too.
Yeah. Like
nasty spin putt.
She hit some nasty ones from range. On what was I watched the full third round I think in replay, and yeah, just really admiring her edge of circle putt, like a lot of pace. But yeah, I think if Kristen and Paige aren't gonna really start hot, then it's a great opportunity for a lot of other people in the field to get a lot of those DGPT points that kind of will make a lot of difference later on in the year when you're talking about the rankings to try to get into the championship and all that stuff.
Yeah. Well, and did you see what happened to Kristen's ankle?
Oh yeah, like she got bit by ants or something, and it like swelled up to like crazy size.
It was
awful.
massive. I didn't know how it got there, but she just said she woke up one day and I think it was like on day 3.
Yeah.
And it was just absolute softball size.
Yeah, it's fucking Texas, so who the hell knows? Like literally anything could bite you out there and cause you to swell up twice your size. It's a scary place.
And it doesn't surprise me that Kristen starts off a little slow. I mean, she's already won an event.
That's true. Slow. You're right.
Yeah.
She won Waco. She won Waco.
She won Waco. Yeah. So it doesn't surprise me. Like, it's the same thing with like watching Paul now. His mind is wrapped around so many projects. He has a kid. All these like other things are going on that I'm not saying that takes away time from his practice, but there was a time where that was his sole focus.
Yeah.
That isn't that anymore.
Yeah.
Brody Smith is now like checking out of disc golf. And the reason being is that like everyone else around him eats, breathes, sleeps disc golf.
Mm-hmm.
And he doesn't. He wants to make content. He wants to make money. He wants to hang out with his wife. He wants to do all these things.
Yeah, I mean, how long is that podcast? I mean, how many? He's like doing like 2 podcasts a week, and they're both 2 or 3 hours. It's like, bro, you should go be practicing that those putts in that 3 hours. It seems like a lot of content. Yeah, but I mean that's the dedication it takes. I mean, you look at Gannon Burr has crazy natural talent, clearly, right? He's tall, he's got the right form, he's got everything. He's a student of form. But you can tell the more popular he gets, the more of it, he's got friends on tour, all this other stuff. I think it's harder to keep that focus going, and that's a young kid, right? When you talk about, your Pauls or your Simon Lizottes or even, Calvin at this point, Calvin's dealing with a little bit of an injury, so that might explain his slow start. But like Simon, brand new, huge contract, a lot of expectations, but also not taking it that seriously. It's got another kid on the way, right? Like, I think Simon's got another kid on the way. Yep. And so, like, I think that stuff really does. I mean, I know I have a job and a kid and all that stuff. It's very distracting from my golf game, So,
right.
And I'm not trying to make any money off of it. I'm trying to lose as little money as possible. But yeah, like, I think it really is tough. And I think, like you said, tough, especially at the beginning of the season when you need to get yourself back into that mindset of like, okay, now for the next 4 months, this is all I focus on, because all that other distractions have to go away, or there's no way I'm going to win on this tour. Who do you like on the? Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Oh yeah, no, I was just going to say that you're absolutely right. It is. There are so many 15, 16, 17, 18. I mean, you run tournaments and you are handing trophies off to 19-year-olds in the MPO division, right? Like Amelia is only maybe 2-3 years out from probably winning her first FPO event. And that's because when you're in that infancy of disc golf, that fire of I will play in anything. I will go putt at any time in any moment. Like I remember when I started Ultimate Frisbee, my fire was like that for a good 10 years. And I just got so much better because of that, because I couldn't. Like, I remember I failed the same math class 3 times because the building was right next to the field and I could hear practice on the outside. And so I would just like, I'll do this later, and just go out and just ditch my book bag and go put my cleats on and go play. And so it's that fire exists for those players that are new and hungry. And Gannon is still he still has that. I'm sure he still has that fire, especially once you win a couple, you're like, dang. Yeah. Winning's fun. Like, let me keep this rolling. But when you're an advanced career like a Paul or even a Kristen who has now seen a ton of success and the spotlight is being shown on her, and she's getting Porsche deals and crazy shit. Like she's going to balls. She's like she meets the president of her country. That is just a whole different level, and that's a whole different type of distraction. And I could see where you're like, you do all that, maybe you don't want to go out and putt and drive. And I think the next thing that all these players, speaking of Calvin, are going to realize is that fitness is going to be a very big thing in their life.
Yeah.
A lot of these players you see are getting elbow injuries, shoulder injuries, and hip injuries and things like that. And one of the things that like Tiger Woods changed in ball golf was fitness.
Yeah.
He was one of the dudes that was jacked, and everyone else was you're just typical looking human being. And then the second he started taking off, everyone else realized that fitness was the next thing that they really, really, really had to take serious.
Yeah.
So
remember when Phil got all ripped for a bit?
Yeah. Right.
Just like 1 year, Phil just all showed up. Phil Mickle, if you guys don't watch normal golf or ball golf, but like, yeah, 2007 or earlier than that probably, but he's just like, and that, you know, I mean, it's totally true. I think you're going to see, I mean, it's got to be tough with the touring life, right? You know, but like, you know, when you're on the road a lot and all that stuff. But yeah, I think really it's going to be, natural ability is not going to carry you into your late 20s, early 30s the way it used to, right? You know, I mean, you look at somebody like Paul Ulibarri, and I'm guessing that dude's in the gym a couple of days a week at least. You know, like he's got to keep up on his body. And the other thing, with the injuries, you know, I don't think we really know enough about like the repetitive stress injuries of disc golf, especially at the level that people are playing at now with the forehands that they're throwing now. You know, nobody was throwing 450-foot forehands 10 years ago, so we don't know what the long-term effects of that are. But, you know, you're going to have to start seeing people like a Vinny or an Eagle or a Kristen, because she's been dealing with, I think, elbow tenderness this week as well. Pitch counts. I mean, like, seriously, like, okay, like, I get 3 giant forehands around, and I got to pick where they are, and I'm going to have to figure out how to be sneaky with the backhand, because, you know, it depends. I think it's hard until you get a little bit success. It's probably hard to make that trade-off of maybe not more sustained success versus immediate success. But that's the calculus that a Kristen and a Calvin and, you know, Eagles had to do a couple of times, right? And I mean, and even you know, Paul off season had surgery, right? So like,
Yep.
You know, I think you're seeing a lot of these people taking preventive measures for some of these injuries, you know, where they might have rehabbed it before or tried to kind of work through it through a year, just saying, hey, I'm going to take the year off and just deal with the surgery or whatever. But it's a tough decision to make, and I think it's a level of maturity that, you know, doesn't always necessarily have the same inflection points as your natural abilities and where you are in the tour, right? So like, kind of all those things have to come together for people to make the right decision and I think have a really long career like Paul has had.
Yeah, and if you see like someone that I kind of like, or not I, but you could model your like fitness calendar off of is Katrina Allen. She's never injured. I'm not saying she doesn't have holes in her game, but she is rarely injured. You don't see that a lot. She doesn't tend to miss a lot due to injuries. Maybe she misses due to other things, but it's not that. It's because she takes her off-season fitness very seriously. And if you like, please go look up the like workouts that pitchers do when they injure their elbows and whatnot, or their shoulders, not like big tears and whatnot, but like small injuries. They are not just taking time off.
No,
that
PT.
is not a thing.
You're full on PT for a couple hours a day.
Right. They're doing like heavyweight shoulder rotations. They're doing a lot of back, hips. They're doing a lot of like trunk twists to like get their core stronger. They're not taking time off. I'm on for anyone that cares, I'm on Team Disc Store this year.
Oh, nice.
And yeah, as in I filled out an application, they said yes. But you know, there's like a Facebook group, and some guy was saying like, oh, my shoulder hurts and my elbow hurts. Like, what can I do about that? And I feel like 99% of the comment section was, oh, take CBD. Oh, smoke a joint before you play. Oh, take Tylenol. And it was like, that is nothing. That is a Band-Aid to the actual issue, which is you need to like up your fitness, because ripping 400-foot shots over and over and over and over is a lot of torque. It's a lot on your body. And honestly, like as a person only throws forehands, there was for a long while in my first couple of years, my elbow was always injured. I would absolutely just choke away good rounds in a tournament because I'd get to that like second and third round, the second round in a day or that next day round, and my elbow would just be smoked. And so I had to start taking the preventative measures through strength training. So I think that's something that these pros are gonna eventually learn, because the people that take it seriously are going to be the ones that have the longevity throughout a full season, especially on these massive courses they're playing.
Well, yeah, and I think what you're going to see, and not to belabor the point, because probably should move on to the next unit, or, well, we never even talked about the male field, or the MPO field, but we can do that some other time. But what I was going to say is that with all the money coming into the sport around these contracts, the hope is that you're going to start seeing some of the kinesiology start catching up, right? I mean, I think we're going to start seeing some dedicated people going into the research and sort of understanding about what the kinesiology and the physics of some of these motions are, so that we can start working on similar programs that pitchers will often start doing early on in their career to support all of the muscles. Because, anybody that knows anything about physical therapy or kinesiology, or, how the body works, is that it's never just the one muscle that's doing the work, right? It's all the muscles around it supporting it. So if you've got a weak one in there, that's the one that's going to pop. And it may not be the one that you can rehab, right? So if you can take the pressure off of some of those things and put it back on the strong muscles, then, and the strong muscle is your weak point, then you have a very good weak point, right? So there's a lot of intricacies to, like, literally these motions that we don't know. Like, I have no idea why, but if I practice putting for an hour, I get this weird lower back pain. And I'm like, I'm standing still. Like, I'm not sitting there trying to drill 50-foot putters for an hour. It's like I'm trying to shoot 25-footers. And it's like, okay, I'm standing somewhere weird. I'm standing in a weird way that my body is not used to standing in. And therefore, it's starting to push on the one muscle back there that doesn't want to deal with it for an hour. All the other muscles are fine, but, like, you got to find that thing and kind of work on it, because that's the thing that's going to tire out, like you're saying, on that second day, on that third round, on the back-to-back weeks, or the back-to-back-to-back weeks, I mean, the MPO field got a week off this week, but, the women had a 3-day turnaround because this is a 4-day event. So, they were done on Monday afternoon, and then, Sunday afternoon, and then right back on the course on Thursday. So, and at least it's in the same town, but, anyways, what else we got? Yeah. We'll talk more about the MPO field. I think that was a great roundup of kind of where disc golf is at right now, and the FPO field. But, we have more thoughts. But we only got about 10 minutes left, so I want to make sure we get a chance to get to the last few parts.
Well, it's our newest segment. We're going to do a disc golf course review. I have picked a course.
I forgot to ask him to promise not to do AP again. But I'm gonna assume that he's not going to do AP again.
I am not.
It would be a really funny joke if you just did AP every time. Because
every time.
So after you did that, I think I was doing something else. I was like cleaning up AP's U-disc. Like I was doing some other random maintenance, and I was like, oh, like I can actually go and look through a lot of the details on a lot of these reviews. And I went back like way far, and there are some even more hilarious ones that you were like, I found the one where the guy lost 17 discs or whatever it was. It was some ridiculous number. But there were some other ones where it's just like, got mugged, or like, just, I don't know, like stepped in a puddle up to my ankle. I'm never coming back. And I'm like, well, that's your fault. But anyways, go ahead. Okay, let's do it.
That is my favorite is seeing some of these and then the star that they give them. Like unplayable 5 stars.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
Okay.
Well,
okay, cool.
It's like on a scale of 1 to 10, right? Does anybody ever use anything lower than a 5, right? It's like people will go out of their way to say like 7.8, but like, like every rating system gets scrunched. It's like why a 4.5 review on Uber is not good enough or whatever, anyways.
Right. Yeah. I did on today's course, I did actually end up running into my review, and it was like very detailed. Okay, here we go.
I forget what the rules are, but we'll just go. It's better if I get them with less reviews, right? I get more points or something?
So I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to read all 5 of them, and then you tell me what the course is.
Okay. You don't want to try it after everyone. Okay, got it.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
I'll jump in if I think I know it, though.
Okay. Okay. 3 stars. Fine course. Bad signage. Not worth how expensive it is. And pray your car doesn't get broken into.
Oh, I mean, I already know it. Is that all right?
Okay.
It's Glen Eagles.
I'm sure you do.
It's Glen Eagles. It's 100% Glen Eagles.
Next one.
Oh, it's not Glen Eagles?
No, it's definitely Glen Eagles.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they're all kind of around the same.
Oh, okay.
But I had a good time finding these. Half Star. My wife and I always walk the courses together, and she caddies for me. The guy who checked me in was extremely rude. They made my wife pay $20 also. Never go back.
Oh no, this poor guy probably went on a Sunday too, where it's like $40 or something ridiculous. Like this course is not worth $40. You know, it's worth what, like on Mondays or Tuesdays you can pay $12. And I think that's about
okay, that's worth it.
And then that's worth it,
That's
right?
it.
I think it's like 12 or 15.
That's it.
That's fine. When it gets up to 35 and it's like 40-mile-per-hour winds and no signs and no tee pads and like literally one of the holes is like super hidden. Like if you don't know, like the first time I played that course, I go there, I go on UDisc. They don't have any layout that matches what the layout is. So I'm trying the OTB, I guess it wasn't called, it was the SFO back then, right? Like they literally had the layout from the SFO open, which was 4 years ago or 5 years ago or something like that. Mm-hmm. That was the only layout they had on it. So I go through that and I get home. We find all the holes eventually and all this stuff. We get home and I go on the SFDGC's Facebook group and I'm like, hey guys, I'm really good at UDisc. Can I become an admin or can I become an ambassador for Glen Eagles so I can fix it? And they're like, oh yeah, is it really bad? And I'm like, yeah, it doesn't match what's going on at all. And so I went in there and fixed all of it. So at least now UDisc sort of works, though if they move anything, it's probably gone. But at least you can get to the T-pads now. But yeah, keep going. I truly like Glen Eagles. And I think it's one of the biggest disappointments in the Bay Area that we couldn't get that relationship right. To get that course cheap and to get it maintained. Because SFDGC has kind of written it off. And hopefully I'm not speaking out of turn or telling tales out of turn, because I don't really know the story because I wasn't involved in the SFDGC when this all went down. But it was like kind of my hiatus of disc golf. But like you talk to anybody over there, they sort of think of it as a write-off, which is a bummer because it's got so much potential. And I think the layout is really good.
It's got so much potential, but the one time I played it, it was $32. The tee pads are pretty much non-existent. They are, if they exist, they're awful, and it tends to be quite overgrown in some of the spots, and so that just sucks.
Especially where they have sort of shuffled off the disc golf to the sides.
Yeah,
like all of a sudden it's like a bush is now like encroaching in, you know, on a tee pad or something like that. Like just nobody goes back there, so of course they're never going to look at it. Whereas, like, if the disc golf community still cared about that course, then, you know, we'd go out and do work days and stuff like that. But we just don't care anymore. So, unfortunately, I think it's going to become a ghost town before too long. I think you're going to see, like, basically the week around Hardly Strictly Bluegrass and the week around the Safari is, like, the only week it ever gets any play. You know, like, those play counts shop. Because it's, like, everybody from San Francisco who can't play in San Francisco but are, like, literally unwilling to go across the Bay Bridge to play disc golf. So now I'm just starting to talk a lot of smack about San Francisco. So I should probably get off this podcast before I get in trouble with all my.
Yeah.
I still have to live here. I still have to live here for the rest of my life.
I just go to Emerald Hills if I couldn't go play SF. I just go to Emerald Hills.
You know what?
Dope.
On a Friday afternoon, I'm telling you, on a Friday afternoon, and we're literally talking to ourselves. There's nobody on the.
Great,
right
perfect.
But I mean, this is gonna go syndicated. But like on a Friday afternoon, I will not go to Golden Gate because I know it'll be a madhouse with rookies and noobs and old timers and everybody's in a group of 7 on a Friday afternoon. But I even with the 45 or the 40-minute drive down to Emerald Hills and back, I can get around in there faster than I can get one in at Golden Gate.
Yep. That's the only way I've played Stafford twice, and the reason I played it the first time ever was because there was an hour wait at SF, and I was like, we could go play Stafford and probably be done before we get through the front 9.
Yeah.
Okay. So.
Oh yeah. So let's go through.
Yeah. The last few ones are if you're into long drives and paying for golf, 4 stars. 1.5 stars. The vibe at the clubhouse was so weird.
The vibes are off. The vibes are off at that place for sure. Yep. It looks like they just like dropped a couple of dudes that like golf in there in like 87 and then just forgot about them because like that clubhouse is weird and dark and it's like the same 2 dudes and like they do not like disc golf. I think that's probably what happened. It's just like they could not crack that veneer of we're ball golf, even though it's like a fucking muni course, you know, like whatever.
Yeah. And then my favorite one. Wind ! 5 stars.
Wind! 5 stars. Which one was yours?
Oh, mine was none of these. Mine was detailed about how expensive it is, how unmaintained the course is. The only positive is that there's a bar.
Yeah, you were just straight yelling into the wind with that review. Like, there's
Pretty
absolutely
much.
nobody paying attention to that review. Like,
I'm I'm pretty sure I wrote it like 10 minutes after I got off 18.
yeah, you're like sitting in the car.
Yep, I was. I can almost guarantee I was
Well,
just sitting in the car, just
it
yeah.
it was the same as me, except that I was like, I can fix one thing. I know there's one thing I can fix. I can fix UDisc, so I'm gonna go home and fix UDisc, and that's at least what I did. But I probably only played it 3 times. You know, it's a. I was hoping for a review about the practice basket.
You know, didn't see one. I didn't. I saw no review about a practice.
Okay,
I didn't even know they had a practice basket.
So as you're walking out to the first tee, you go up this hill, and on what can only be described as like a 45-degree angle hill, there's a practice basket that the cage is broken and tilted like this. And yeah, like that's the practice basket. A broken Pro 28 on a 45-degree incline. Like, that's how little they give a shit about. Like, it's if it had a perfect basket, it's still unusable because like everything's a roll away, you know? Like you got to go walk down to the hill to collect all of your missed putts, you know? So, anyways. I know.
Classic.
Someday
I love it.
someday it'll be, I mean, one day on the podcast, I'll dig up a bunch of the old stuff about what we actually tried to build down there in McLaren Park because it could have been really cool. I still have some of the old maps from our program, which was called, at first it was called Save McLaren Park, and then we realized we were not saving it from anything, so then we changed it to Share McLaren Park, and then the NIMBYs just axed it. But like, you know, we got pretty far down the road with it, and then I think that eventually ended up turning into them working with Glen Eagles, and then that turning into the SFO, and now it's a ghost town. But, you know, we'll see if SF wants to do any more disc golf anywhere else in the city, but...
It sure would be nice to have one more course in the SF at minimum.
With how busy it is, you know, we'll see.
Especially how about a little tiny 9-hole so all those noobs stop going to Golden Gate.
Well, that's what I'm talking about. I mean, like, dude, we could put in 3 baskets in the Panhandle and it'd be sweet, you know. Like, I mean, there's places, you know, there's all these little mini parks. I mean, that's what and you know, we're returning to that conversation a little bit, but like that's what we're trying to do in Oakland. Like, literally, some of these are going to be like little mini neighborhood parks with like 2 baskets in it, like basically for putting, you know, and that's fine. I think that's, kids are going to love, you know, you put a kid 20 feet away from a basket with a disc, they'll sit there for an hour. So it's
Absolutely. Great.
Yep. Well, there we go. We did it again somehow.
Yay. Love it.
A little clunky because we have, you know, we're a little rusty getting the season started again, but you know, we'll get it going again. Yeah. Well, thank you so much, Jeff. Great to talk to you, buddy.
Love you, buddy.
Good luck with the birthday bash this weekend, okay?
All right. Thank you very much.
Okay, bye, everybody. Talk to you next month.
Bye.
Peace.
Ciao. Bye.